Good evening, friends, and welcome to another edition of the Music Dreams USA Radio Artist Spotlight Show. And on tonight's show, we have got a treat for you. She's known as the Queen of Disco. Her name is Carrie Cleveland, and she's with her son, Mr. Heston Cleveland. We're going to talk to these guys, and we're going to find out about the music career. We're going to find out about what has Mr. Heston been up to lately as he promotes indie artists. So we'll find out about that. We'll find out about the Queen of Disco. It's going to be a fun show here. It's being brought to you this evening by Blue Shamrock Music and Mr. Stephen Brady. Also, Rise Up Family Sports with Mr. DeAndre the Torch Robinson and Titan Events Incorporated. If you got an event, we've got you covered. Good evening, everyone. It's your friend Russell Hay coming to you live from our Somerville, South Carolina studios. And we're actually going up to California. And we're going to be talking here in just a moment with the Queen of Disco and Mr. Heston Cleveland. We'll find out about their musical journey. We'll find out what got them into music. And what do they think about the music industry today? We'll find out that much more. Now, let's go live and meet our special guest, Mr. Heston Cleveland and Miss Carrie Cleveland. How are you folks doing this evening? Welcome to the big show. How's it going up there in Cali?
It's great.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Um, we're in Northern California, so no, we didn't get any fires here. Yeah.
Oh, good deal. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, and blessings to the people who've been affected by those horrible fires. And so I'm glad to know that you folks are safe. And so let's kick off our show this evening. If y'all both want to kick off and maybe share with our listeners are watching now that we'll be watching later, how did you get into the music industry? And what do you think about the music of today?
Well, we got in the music industry because of my dad. My dad started off being a drummer, messing around the house. He started a band called the Creative Set. He eventually went to the keyboard, and my mom used to travel around with him, being a supportive wife. She would go to a lot of his gigs, and they used to play around the house, play for their friends, and my mom always sung. So one day he just happened to ask, Carrie, come on up. And I'll let you share that story, Mom.
Yeah, they were auditioning, and he decided to ask me to come up, and I went up, and they got the job. And from that particular time, I was hired to sing with them. It was just like, wow. And I've been singing ever since.
It mirrors Rufus and Shaka Khan. You know
Absolutely.
how
Who does
they
not know about
started?
those guys, right?
Yeah, so all of a sudden it was Shaka Khan. And just like that, it was Carrie Cleveland. They used to tour around,
Tina Turner. Not
not no Rufus and Shaka Khan, Mama. Um, they used to tour around the San Francisco Bay Area, and they had a nice following. And I didn't really, I took everything for granted. Yeah, they played, and I could stand it. I was a teenager, and of course, my favorite group was Parliament Funkadelic. So I didn't realize how good they were until they auditioned at the Claremont Hotel, which is a big old luxurious hotel in the Berkeley Hills. You could see it from all over. So they went there, and it was a 3-day audition where a lot of bands were playing. And I'm like, well, they did all right, but I don't. I don't know if they're going to get it. So that week I ran in and I was going to track practice, and my dad said, "Hey, what are you doing this weekend?" I'm like, I don't know what's going on. He said, "We got the job." And I'm like, "What?" He said, "Yeah, we're the featured act up there." So I'm like, "Hey, they're pretty good, you know." Um, so they in the 70s, 80s, they did a lot of things. And then it came to the time where my dad got sick and he ended up having a massive heart attack and actually passed away.
Oh
But
man.
my mom decided we got too many gigs going. She knew a lot of musicians in Oakland, so she just interchanged the pieces and kept going. But then they started uh, disrespecting her. A woman band leader wasn't really respected. So she decided to quit. Lo and behold, uh, she remarried, and I was still living in Oakland, and she moved to where we are now, Rio Vista. So she called me and said, "Hey, I need your help. Uh, your stepfather's really sick." So I moved in, and at the time I wasn't old enough to legally be here. So I was messing around on my phone, and my mom collected beanie babies.
Oh
Oh my
wow.
God, Russ, stand in line for hours. I'm like, y'all crazy. She would collect. So a Google had posted a beanie baby worth $2,500. And I'm like, I ran in the room. I'm like, Ma, look, 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 look. So we got all excited and pulled them out. All day long, we was looking at the tags, trying to figure out, did we make any money? And so she said, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. So I was on the Google kick. How much is this? How much is that? So I went past a box of unopened Kerry Cleveland records. My dad pressed 1,000 records back in '78 that he sat on. So I said, "How much is a Kerry Cleveland original copy?" And at the time, it was $450. So
Wow.
I ran in the room, and I'm looking at eBay, seeing how much people were buying and selling her music for, and she got mad at me and told me to shut up. And I ended up meeting an old friend that that rapped. I used to be in a rap group called the Ansars, and it was Righteous Black Gorillas. We were a militant rap group. So I saw him and I said, "Hey, man, my mom got these records, blah, blah, blah." And he goes, "Man, I'm into buying and selling old vinyl." I'm like, "Really?" So he said, "Send me five." So I drove, and we met, my mom and I, we went and met him, and I gave him 5 copies. And he put them in a record store on consignment. And then Chris Webb from Kalita Records called, and he said, "I want to reissue your mom's records." So we were like, "Well, I don't know." But a friend of mine said, "Man, why not? You not doing nothing with them." I'm like, "You know what? You're right." So I sent him an original copy, and he ended up remastering it and made a few changes and added extra versions on it. We sent him a whole bunch of pictures, and it was an elaborate album cover. You open it up, it had all the pictures and the bio where you read it and saw like memorabilia pictures. And we actually did pretty good the first quarter. So, I'm all excited. I didn't know anything about online. And eventually he says, I had carried and ran her course. She's 78 years old. She's not making any more music. I'm moving on. I have other artists. And but then still at this time, people were still messaging me, oh my God, I just heard your mom's song and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I got mad and I'm like, well, I'm gonna learn how to do it. So the first radio station that played it said, man, I love your mom's music. I'm gonna tag you and you could RT. So I'm like, oh, okay. And I hung up and I'm like, what's tag? What's RT? So I'm calling my friends, what is that? And they laughed at me. So eventually I start learning, I start submitting more of her music. And next thing you know, her Spotify start going up. And a friend of mine said, man, you need to do a record signing party. So we went to this mom and pop store, and so I sold him a few original copies. And I'm like, man, is there any way we could do a record signing party? He goes, yeah. And he just happened to do a weekly show at a local radio station. We went in and interviewed, and my mom sung a song, and the newspaper came and interviewed us. We happened to get a television interview, and that day was amazing. It was
Wow.
standing room only, Russ. Standing room only. My mom signed a lot of records, and she sung a few songs. Man, we had a phenomenal day.
And it was packed. The record shop was packed.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
couldn't even get in. I'm outside running my mouth, and she did mic check, and I'm like, oh, I need to be inside. I got pictures I'm gonna show you with her, with me trying to get in, and people standing in the doorway. Um, we were offered to go on a Motown tour. They had a Bay cruise where they had Motown artists perform, and another guy offered for us to go with his house band to Italy. But then the next month, the pandemic hit. So that put brakes on everything. So, after the television interview, an old friend of mine reached out to us. He's like, man, I've been looking for you. Um, I'm a conscious rapper. I do rap. I'm doing a show Juneteenth at this pretty popular park in Oakland. So we went, well, okay, well, we'll go. It was a nice sunny day. It was in summer. And we hung out with his friends. And, we introduced ourselves, interacted with each other. So that was my chance to tell my mom's story. I'm a talker. So
Yeah.
I'm telling
Let's
stories.
yeah. Let's talk to your mom now. I appreciate you sharing that.
I
Carrie.
guess you could
So
tell.
Yeah, appreciate you sharing it. Thanks for your time. So, Carrie, you are the queen of disco. Tell me more about that.
Well, I pretty much Heston do most of the talking. I don't do very much talking, but we have done quite a few shows. What was our last show? We
Uh, it was at
the one
East
in
Side Art Alliance in East Oakland. We teamed up with a group of people. See, that's where we met at Mosswood Park. A mutual friend of mine now, he said, Miss Carey, I would love to have you come to my studio. Let's see if you could still do it. So, of course, a few friends were like, you need to check with your mom and make sure she wants to do it. So, we had our meeting in the kitchen. That's where we usually talk.
In the
uh,
kitchen.
in the kitchen. Um, so we
Well,
ended
at least
up
it's
going
not the
to,
fireplace.
right, right. You know, we went to the studio and my mom tried to sing, and I'm like, oh Lord, this is not going to work. How am I going to tell her? So she said, let's go back. So we went back again, and I had made up my mind, nah, it's not going to work. But we ended up going back one more time, and she hit that note, Russ, and the engineer jumped up and ran out the seat and ran down the hallway. He was like, oh my God. And I'm like, that sounds like my mom. So
Wow.
he made a song. He said, Heston, I know you're overprotective of your mom. I'm just asking you, please give me this chance. So I humbled myself and didn't say nothing. And he made a song called High Beams. And he says, okay, I want to do a video. The song was okay. So he went, bought the wardrobe and did everything. Found the spot to do it, and we did it. And on her birthday, he came over and he said, it's done. Everything's done. You guys look at it. Russ, I start crying like a baby. I'm like, oh my God,
Um,
this is beautiful. So we start doing more interviews and we hooked up with some old friends. It's funny how everything came together. The guy's name is K.E. Durham, and he has Black Nova Entertainment, which is also Ricardo Love. That's the co-host of the Indie Hookup. He's the engineer and a hell of a lead guitarist. He ended up redoing four of her songs, and we have three originals. And the group we got with, they wanted to do community work. So we did community work also along with performing. So my mom, it's just enough to keep her busy. She performs 3 to 4 songs every show. We do 3 or 4 times a year, which is enough. So that song, The High Beams, is the one that brought her back to the disco days. You gotta see it, man. You gotta see it. Mom, tell them
so,
what you thought about it. What you thought about the video.
well, I thought it was okay, and more people was liking it. So of course I started liking it more because you never uh, think people usually think more. Well, the people were given me so much um,
Compliment.
compliments. It kind of grew on me. I'm not a very good judge about things, but I got so many compliments, and so many people bought records. So the more I would hear it, the more I would like it. It was something not really my style that I had been used to, but I learned to like it.
Let me ask you this question. I mean, you've had such an amazing musical career, and you've been at some of the biggest stages. We actually have artists that actually watch our show, and artists who will watch it later. What advice can you give an artist who maybe is trying to get to where you are? I mean, obviously, you've been there, you've done it, you've been on some of the biggest stages ever. And so, what type of advice can you share with the artists who may be trying to get to where you are?
Well, I believe it or not, my thing is I'm everybody's mom, so I got a lot of kids, and they treat me so special. They make me feel so good. And my son usually the one that talks. I don't do too much talking, but the people that I've met has been so nice and so sweet to me. I had a birthday earlier this month, and all the birthdays and compliments and I was I was they made me feel so good. Uh, my birthday have passed, and they still wishing me happy birthday.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
going to wish you
Russ,
happy
I think
birthday.
I
I'm
sent you
going to
that
wish you a
show.
happy belated birthday.
I think I sent you that show, her birthday show with all the artists shouting her out before their song.
Yes, and we
And
actually play that live on the radio too. We actually play that on Music Dreams USA Radio for you, Miss Carrie. We actually played your birthday party remix on live on the air.
Wow, thanks.
and you know that to answer your question, the thing is, I quote and I say, never give up on your dreams. That's it right there. Our dream is 45, 46 years in the making. And
It's
we,
funny you say that because before we interviewed you, we had another artist we interviewed, and she was up in Australia. And when we were doing that interview, she made a comment live on air stating that, it doesn't matter how old you are. It's never too late to chase that dream, kind of like what you're talking about right now. So I totally would agree with you that, people who are watching now will be watching later. It's never too late to give up on that dream. If you got the dream, you got the love and passion, go for it. Don't let age be an excuse of you trying to get to maybe, something you want to do and not one day look back and it's like, maybe I should have done that and I really didn't. So I like hearing you say, but carry on.
you know, it's funny. Like I meet a lot of artists, and I met some really good artists. Some of them with platinum and gold records. This young lady named Tesla Nay. She's a Southern soul singer. She has a couple of gold records. I talked to her a lot. One day, we were in the car, and I had the phone on Bluetooth in the car, and I'm talking to her, and I go, Tesla Nate, say hi to my mom. Do you know she was at a loss of words? She was like, uh, 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 what do I say? I'm like, say hi, you know. Um, my mom is a staple for not giving up on your dreams, and all the love she gets Go, Mama Carrie, keep going. You know, you're my idol. Like you heard in the shout outs on her show. Miss Carrie, we love you. And I mean, these are some dynamite artists that pay homage to her. You know, it's amazing the love we get from all these artists. And you know, I'll be doing something and people will reach out to me, Heston, I love your mom's music. This is what I do. And by any means, I will help you. And you know, I learned you could pay somebody to help you, or you could have someone do it out of love. And believe me, the love is stronger than the payment because anybody will take your money. But the people that
Exactly
offer
right.
you, you know, they offer you to do it out of love, you just get that much more.
I love hearing you say that, and I could agree with you more. And it's such an honor to have the Queen of Disco on the show with us here tonight, Miss Carrie. It's so nice to meet you face to face here, and welcome to our show. And if there's anything that we can do for you, that's what we're here for. So, love to work with you and continue, to help you continue with your dream. And thank you for making music great. And but I do have one question for you, Miss Carrie. In your illustrious career, are there any special moments that really stand out to you? If there is, what is that special moment and why is it so important to you?
What's your favorite moment?
Well, the time that I went to the record shop and I got all the attention, that was very, very special to me. And some things now that comes up, like with people I'm meeting, that makes me feel good. Really makes me feel good. And the idea about me, I'm, uh, I'm really a grandma. I got a
Great grandson.
great grandson, and when people call me and want to talk to me, it makes me feel so good because they're so much younger, and then most of them call me moms.
Like,
Wow.
watch this, Russ, watch this. Tell her what you think about her music.
Miss Carrie, I gotta tell you something. When Heston sent me over your music, right? I was actually in the recording studio, recording for the morning show. But I told myself, you know what? I'm gonna take a few minutes aside and I'm gonna check out this music. And when I heard your music, I was like, oh my God, where have you been? I mean, the music has been unbelievable. I mean, you have an unbelievable voice. And one thing I love about your music that's really missing in today's music is a lot of your songs is centered around love, really true passion, love. A lot of your songs are about love. If you listen to music today, it's not about love. It just seems like artists today are just trying to scramble some stuff together and put something out there that they think is great. And I mean, we actually just did a poll recently, and a lot of your younger generations are listening to old school music. A lot of people are not even listening to music of today. It's you got the gangster rap, you got all that stuff that people don't want to hear. I mean, we're in a world right now where people are hurting, and if people are hurting, where do they go to? They go to listen to music. They find that heaven in music, and your music is right there. And so I personally want to say this live on the air. Thank you for making music great, and thank you for the memories that you shared. And I mean, those are memories that last for a lifetime, and it's a true blessing to have you here. It's a blessing to meet my buddy there, Mr. Heston, and we're going to be doing team up doing a lot of stuff together here. And so personally on here, Mr. Heston, right on cue. Miss Carrie, thank you from the bottom of our heart for being here today. We love you and we love your music, and I cannot wait to hear you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
You sing this one? Okay. I don't know if you heard that.
What was that?
Okay, Mama.
Okay, thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. And it's a, as I mentioned, a pleasure to have you. And I mean, you've rubbed elbows with some of the biggest stars. I mean, of all the stars that you've rubbed elbows with, who stands out to you the most?
Who's your favorite artist?
Ooh, I got so many.
Who'd you have the
One.
opportunity to have stage with? I heard you say Tina Turner earlier. Did you actually sing with her?
No,
No,
she sung with Bobby Blue Bland, BB King.
Oh, BB King. There you go. That must have
I
been a
used to
real.
like my favorite singer used to be Nancy Wilson. I used to like more uh uh what what am I trying to say? Jazz singers, but I've since I've been doing this, I haven't been doing that. But I used to like Nancy Wilson, Dion Moore with them kind of singers.
Marilyn McCool.
Mary McCoo.
Oh, I love her. Yeah, she got some great stuff too. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
the girl disco days. So, let me ask you about Miss Carrie. Let me ask you about the music of today. Do you like it? You don't like it? What do you think needs to change it with the music of today? I mean, if you go to country music, it's not country music like it used to be. It's more like country rap now and country pop, and it's not the way it used to be. And even the music of today, what do you think about it?
You mean what I think about the music
Music today.
today?
Yes, yes.
Well, I usually go back and get my old songs. I got so many old records that you should hear. Um, the newer record, I do like some of it, but I'm in the old thing.
Russ, I'll play how we do it. We'll put a show together, and before I send it out, I'll play it in the car. We live in Rio Vista, which is actually in the middle of nowhere. So I get to put the show on and let it play. And she'll either like it, or the first thing she'll say is, "Why they gotta cuss? All the time they be cussing." So, I'll listen to it and we'll edit it, you know. But the language in the music, even the love songs have cuss words in it, so that's one thing she really complains about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like that on the same boat as she is as well. I mean, that's the problem I have with the music of today. I mean, if you're an artist, right? I don't have a problem with you trying to express your feelings through your music, but why do we have to have cuss words with you trying to express your feelings with the song you're trying to get across to the people? And for me, I agree with your mom. I'm not, our station's not. We're not a big fan of that at all, and that's something we're not going to support. Um, I feel like there's a lot of good music out there, and there's no need to be cussing. Why are there cuss words and whatever? I mean, that's something that shouldn't be a part of music at all. Period. And in our station, we don't promote that. We're not going to promote it, and then that's why we're very careful with who we have on that actually takes up airtime with us. It's very important. Because you never know who's listening, and so it's very important. So yeah, I'm glad your mom feels that way. Miss Carrie, I'm on board with you 100%. I don't like it. Never did like it, and I don't think there's no room for it.
I don't think so either.
I mean, your music, just listen to your music. Listen to other artists out there. You know, even like there's some good top 40 music that's okay, but if you go back like to the 80s, the 90s, early 2000s, you know, you got good party music. You're not hearing people swearing every 2 minutes. They're swearing, and that's just something that I think that doesn't have a place for me. That just me speaking personally. I don't think there's a place for that in music. To hear people just cussing every moment. I don't get it.
I don't
Right.
either.
Mr. Heston, you're quiet.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking, um, thank you for having us. It's getting dark here. Oh, we had to
Yeah,
turn the light. But
yeah. Well, actually, yeah, it was fun having you as well, and thank you uh, for the time this evening. Thank you for being on our live show tonight. And Miss Carrie, we love you, and we're going to have you back for part two. Okay, just keep on
Okay.
making music great. And Mr. Heston, thank you for all you do. So nice to meet you. Look forward to doing some more stuff with you in the future. And you
yes,
folks
sir.
take care. Enjoy your evening. Okay.
All
Okay.
right. Thank you, Russ.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Enjoy your evening, and welcome back to the show.